point me in. Good morning, Fort McMurray, Wood Buffalo, and the rest of the world. You've tuned in to the Mac City Morning Show. I'm your host, Elliot Pierre, and we're going to start the show off the same way we start every episode off, with a moment of gratitude. I know you could be doing a million other things with your time, and the fact that you spend it with us truly does mean the world to me. So thank you. On that note, Tanner, hit him with the intro.
How's she cutting, me loves? You're listening to the Mac City Morning Show.
All right, and we are back. I'm excited about today's guest. We've been chatting a little bit, but for the most part, complete stranger, and you know I love to meet new people. So on that note, you also know I don't introduce my guests because they can do a better job of that than myself. So can you please tell everybody at home who you are and what you're about?
My name is Vanessa Beltran, and I am a photographer and embroider, and I've been in Fort McMurray since 2006.
Okay, so we were chatting, but I was like, don't tell me anything. So I've got lots of questions because I didn't want to know about what you do or how you do it or how you got into it. So now I can actually ask. Let's talk about the embroidery first. Like, what do you embroider? How does that work? Do you use a machine or are you using your hands? Everything embroidery, please.
So everything I make is handmade. So I stitch.
Wow.
I like more of what's called embroidery painting.
Okay.
Which basically I use one thread.
Okay.
And I stitch along the picture and make it as a whole. But you're going one thread at a time, whereas like embroidery machines will just do it like very, very quickly.
Yeah.
A small piece for me would probably take me a week. And currently I'm doing a portrait, and that one has been taking me a few months.
Right.
Because I can only spend so much time with it with like my kids.
Right. Right.
But it's probably been over like 50 hours already on it.
Wow.
So yeah, it takes a lot of time. Yeah.
Like a portrait, like somebody supplied you with a picture and then you're like, okay.
Yeah.
And so like, are you putting it on like a canvas like that, or is it on a t-shirt? Like where's this taking place?
So right now it's in like cotton, so like a regular t-shirt fabric, not too stretchy.
Right.
But picture like your button-up shirts.
Yeah.
That type of material.
Okay.
And then the piece that I'm making right now is for my mom.
Okay.
And it's like the first portrait that I am making to like introduce it to my my art, I guess, for people to ask if they want them. But that one, I try to use recyclable materials.
Okay.
So I'm all about upcycling and recycling. So that one will be made out of a shirt that I cut up into the piece and basically stitched it. So I'll grab a picture, I'll trace it out, the shadows and highlights, and then transfer it to the medium, which could be canvas or cotton.
Okay.
And then start tracing it out.
Cool. How'd you get into that?
I started wanting to do it when I was pregnant with my first.
Okay.
I was on mat leave. It was towards the end of my pregnancy, I guess. I really wanted to do something once I had her. Like I didn't want to just be sitting, not doing anything at home kind of thing.
Right.
And I love the bonnets because I started buying them for her, the little cute bonnets.
Right.
And I was like, oh, I want to embroider on them. So I started practicing and stuff like that. And that was my first goal. It's like, I want to do bonnets, embroider bonnets.
Right.
Sewing's not for me.
Yeah.
It's just, I've tried, and my mother is a seamstress, but
Okay.
it's just not the thing for me. And eventually I transitioned to just going on the hoop and doing that. But that's where I started. And
Okay.
the name of my page is actually my daughter's name.
Okay.
So her name's Ellen Rose, and the page is Ellen Rose Design.
Very cool.
It's going to be very hard to explain how you don't have favorites, though.
Yeah.
Well, they're both my favorite. I love them both. But
The second page, we'll get the second kid in there.
I love them both very differently.
Right.
My first, we had her through IVF.
Okay.
So she was a long time coming, and like
Yeah.
her name, everything, like it was very, very special.
Right.
And our second is very special and very saucy in her own little way. So
Nice.
they're
That's
both
awesome.
special.
So now, in regards to, that's one component of what like you're doing. The other component is photography.
Yes.
So
What do you shoot with?
what do you? I knew that was coming. What's the camera?
So I
choice?
have two. So I started with a Rebel, and then I went to a 60 is what I have, Canon, And then I got a 5D Mark III. I'm always bad with them, like with the names, but it's Canon, yeah.
I know. Yeah, I know everything. She shoots full frames, so like
Yeah.
it's still Canon, so we all make mistakes. But she's
Yeah.
getting good pictures out of them for sure.
What's your own?
Mine?
You isn't it a Canon too?
No, I own a Nikon D50.
Oh right. See, Tanner's a big Nikon guy.
Yeah, including the 3 Nikons we filmed this show with.
Right. So I use Canon when I go out and do my work as well, and then we tried using Sony. Didn't work so well for us. Not to say Sony's a bad brand. I like Sony and I like their products, and I want to throw shade, but it just didn't work out for us.
Yeah, too bad nobody told you that, eh?
Yeah.
But everyone's so different though, because like my dad had a Canon, and it was like the old school ones, and he loved it, and that's how he took pictures of us growing up, kind of thing.
Right.
And he had like the slides.
Okay.
Yeah. So like I don't know how many times I've seen his
That's
slide
cool.
book and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But he started with Canon, so I went to Canon.
Right.
Probably if I would have started with a Nikon, I might have.
Yeah,
liked
if your
that,
dad
but
shot with that.
I used a Canon a Nikon after using a Canon, and they're horrible.
It's like
it's
it's
just
like
different.
driving on the other side of the road.
It's so different. It's like
Backwards. Everything is literally backwards.
I've heard people. It's like, oh, what do you recommend? And it's like, look, read about both of them.
Right.
Read about what's out there, and then pick one. Because if you pick one and then switch, it's a pain.
It's a pain. That's right.
And it's a big pain on your wallet too.
Yes, changing. And like I know there's been photographers in town that like have switched, and it's like, and they love what they own now.
That's right.
But that's a big change.
That's a big change.
When I worked at Photosource, I used to deal with those photographers coming in and changing all of their gear. And when they would want to go from like a Nikon to a Sony, and they were like a legit professional photographer, you were looking at like $15,000 to $20,000 just to get like bodies, lenses, SD cards, all that switched over to the proper gear.
Nice.
And for like new photographers, like it's not saying that you can't, but it's that like I would recommend look into it, pick one.
That's right.
And then eventually you can do the transition, because starting out, if like you pick Canon and it's like, oh, I don't really like it, I want to switch out, it's like you got to switch out all your lenses.
That's right. That's right.
You know, even just getting a different mount, it's impossible within brands, right?
That's right.
You can get mount adapters, but that just hurts the quality of what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've had a few photographers on now. What is your object or subject that you like to shoot?
So when I started, I liked the still life, was just like taking pictures of products and stuff like that.
Okay.
And then I started getting into people and whatnot. But I've always liked fine art. That's
Okay.
my thing. Art is my love, I guess.
Right.
And that's where I'm going back to now. So I'm doing a lot of self-portraits, but adding an artistic element to it. And this year, I've decided to incorporate the photography and the embroidery together.
Okay.
So that's my ultimate goal for this year, is to do a mix, visual arts, craft.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they'll just weird poses and like, you know.
And so are you the major subject, or do you have friends or family members that you are able to get in the picture, or like are you the main subject?
So currently, just because of everything going on, I've taken more self-portraits, obviously. But before, which are a lot of the images that I'm printing now to incorporate the embroidery on, it was models or girls that I knew that were into modeling in town and
Right.
friends. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Cool.
like, hey, usually it's funny because I've had that where it's like I'll see someone and
Yeah.
it's just like, I know this is weird, but can I take pictures of you?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm very awkward at approaching people too. And
Okay.
It's just like, I remember even just like going at Earl's, I never heard back, but it was just like, here's my card. It's like, I really want to take pictures of you. Do you mind? Like, would you ever?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, sure. And, you know,
What's the success rate on that?
not very high,
You're
but
not
I think
bad.
it's just because of me.
Yeah.
But if I can, I usually get stuck with an idea, and it's like if I see someone, like I
Right.
have a friend right now, it's just she's gonna laugh, but it's like, I can see you in this dress with this hairstyle and this prop, and can we please go out and do it?
Right.
And you know, I still have to do that one, but I have another friend. It's like, I really want it in the snow and this red. And I picked the day, and it was like minus 30 something. And she's just like, I love you, but like, you're like killing. I was like, hey, let's go warm up and whatever. But she was like shriveling. It's one of my favorite pictures I've done so far.
Yeah. It
But
came out well. I was just going to ask, like,
Yeah, she
how did she feel about it?
She loved it.
Yeah.
But she's just like, it's always you just grabbing me to like get into the water, cold water, or just standing in the rain, or minus weather. Yeah.
So how did you get into photography? Is this something that you've been doing, like you had a passion since you were younger, or like you said you saw your dad doing it? Is that how it started, and how did it progress into you actually doing it to make income?
Yes, it started with my dad. Like I said, he liked taking pictures of us and the family when the cousins all got together. And then up here, I think it was, so I'm from Venezuela originally.
Okay.
So when we decided to move, the year we left, I was taking a lot of pictures. It's like, capturing the memories, because I was going to be moving to a different country.
Right.
And then when we moved up here and I started having friends, they joked around because it was like Vanessa's documenting everything.
Right.
And taking videos of everything and pictures of everything.
Yeah.
And then I think it would have been 2009. So I moved up here 2006. So in 2009, I was like, I want a camera. I really want a camera. I want to buy,
Right.
So I got one, and then I started with friends and their kids, because kids are easy.
Right.
Parents are always going to love pictures of their kids, and I kind of started that way.
Highly debatable. Children are not easy to photograph. If you're not good with children are not easy to photograph.
Well, when you look at the baby, like the very pose, that's very hard. It is very hard. But when you capture like a kid running with the ball and like...
Oh, yeah, like a kid playing is different than trying to pose a kid.
Yes, but like, and even now, like I would say like probably my favorite is photographers in town that do like the lifestyle, because you capture the kids in their own...
Yeah.
It's not forced. It's not,
That's right.
And that's kind of where I started, was with friends' kids. And then I did a little bit of newborn in the pose, but it was a lot of stress. So
That's right.
I didn't,
Yeah.
It's not my niche. I like the end result, but it was a lot of stress just to get them done.
There you go. Very cool. Well, listen, I got a signal from Tanner. That means his segment is ready. It's called the Mac City Minute. He's going to ask you some questions. I don't know what he's going to ask you. I wish you nothing but the best of luck. Tanner, hit her with the Mac City Minute.
Okay, question number 1. What is the weirdest thing you've embroidered?
Weirdest thing? Nothing yet. Like it's not weird, but I'm doing a horror piece right now, like a horror character theme.
Yeah.
But it's not weird. It's actually kind of cute.
Question number 2. What is your favorite part of raising children in Fort McMurray?
I don't know. I think having friends that become your second family, to see them interact with my friends' kids is pretty sweet.
Question number 3. What is the most interesting thing you've gotten to take a photo of?
I don't know. Everything's interesting, I think.
Question number 4. What was one of your first thoughts from arriving in Fort McMurray for the first time?
That it was very cold, and it was August 17th, and I was wearing 2 sweaters.
Venezuela, Elliot.
Yeah, I was wearing 2 sweaters, and it was like 17 degrees, and I was like, it is freezing. We got out of the plane, and I was like, I do not like this. Wow. Winter was much worse. That first winter.
Yeah, no doubt.
No doubt.
Yeah, and your final question. What was your biggest culture shock of getting to Fort McMurray?
Okay, so when I got to Fort McMurray, I was, I'm going to say 19, and I had to go back to high school. And I had like kids in high school asking me if I was a teacher because of how I was dressed. So the outfits were, there was kids there wearing PJs and, hoodies. And I was in grade 12 wearing dress pants, heels, and a shirt.
Right.
So I was like, what is this? Like,
Yeah.
Those have been your 5 questions.
That's funny. Okay. So, I thought when you said it was cold, I was like, oh, she came in the winter. You came in the summer and couldn't hack it.
it was August. It was 17, I think was 17 degrees.
Yeah, it
or,
ain't
like,
cold yet.
I think it was windy and it was 20 degrees, I think, close.
Yeah.
And I was like, Mom, this is freezing. Like, I don't know how we're going to live here.
That's
But,
hilarious.
I still can't handle the weather.
So
That's right. I was born here. I can't handle it either.
my parents are both from South America, Guyana, and he doesn't like the winter at all. He's been here in Canada since like the mid '70s, and he's just like, yeah, no, we're not doing this cold weather.
No.
Like he can deal with it obviously, but he doesn't enjoy it.
Yeah, no, it is one of those things that it's like you live with it, but it's just like, do you like it?
Yeah, I love it.
No, you don't.
I do. I went snowshoeing a few days ago and went snowboarding.
Oh,
and-
you mean in that -10 weather?
Well, no, it was cold 20s. Like once it hits like past 30, I don't think anybody like loves it. I deal with it at that point. But yeah, if it's not 30, I enjoy the winter time.
I'll hold you to that.
Yeah, I enjoy it. And like it used to be a lot different in Fort McMurray. My tolerance for the temperature was a lot better when we had all the trees. I find Fort McMurray now, since the fire, we don't have the same tree coverage, so it's really windy here now. And so like when it's windy in the winter, like that's deadly. But back in the day, we never got wind like this before. So although it was cold, it was a dry cold and it was still air. So I honestly, back in the day, -30-ish, I could care less. But now with the wind, it's deadly. Yeah. But yeah, so Venezuela. So explain more about your outfits when you're going to school in Venezuela. Are kids dressing that appropriately for school, or did you just didn't know?
So I was working already, and I was manager at a store, and like you kind of dress up. But
That's
in
right.
school, high school, and like from grade 1 to 6, we wore uniforms. So it is in like that
Right.
skirts and the
Yeah,
shoes
yeah.
and socks. It's
My
like-
mom used to wear both my parents. That's right.
Yeah, so I was in it was I was private school, but it was like uniforms and stuff like that. But even public school has
Yeah.
to wear uniforms.
That's
And
right.
it's like coming here, it's like you got to pick what you're gonna wear to school every day. What? Like,
Yeah. How did you adjust to that? Were you able to make it work, or?
Oh yeah, at some point, I remember the first time I walked out and I was wearing PJs. My mom was like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
It's just like, I don't know. Everyone else is wearing it. It's more comfortable. Like,
Yeah.
like whatever.
Yeah.
She's like, Vanessa, like you need to like put some jeans on and like proper shoes or something. It's like
Okay.
I
Now
had fully like submerged into the
Integrated.
integrated. That's the word.
Yeah, that's the right word.
Now the question is, what high school did you go to?
I went to Father Merck.
Ah, there we go. Proper school. I went to Father Merck too. Tanner went to comp. And anyways, we ask everybody who went to high
All I'm
school.
saying is these Nikon cameras work real good, and the comp kid made that decision.
There you go.
So enjoy your show, Elliot.
Okay, so you went to Merck just for 1 year then.
Yes. So I graduated. I had graduated in 2004 in Venezuela.
Okay.
But when you come up here, when I moved, anyways,
Mm-hmm.
you had the option to do, I think it was 2 years of English in order to be able to go to university or college.
Right.
Or you had to do the 1 year of high school just to get
Yeah.
proper credits and stuff like that.
That's right.
In order to go into
Yeah.
college. But,
And how did you find it? Did you enjoy the high school experience here?
it's funny because I was the oldest one, and it's like everyone's like trying to get me to buy booze. It's like no. It's just like
Definitely.
all
I would've been that
hesitant. It's
kid.
like what can I do?
Yeah.
What can I not do? And it's just
That's
like,
right.
but you're like, you're over 18. You can do this without. And I'm like, I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah.
No. But that was the biggest thing. Like everyone would ask is like as soon as they found out my age, it's like
Right.
you buy us booze.
Yeah.
Or cigarettes.
Yeah.
You got cigarettes?
I turned 18 when I was in grade 12. Like, yeah. So I had February is my birthday. And yeah, so I had a few months being 18 in high school, and it was awesome for me and my friends. We had a great time.
So it's like they're like, what are you doing here? Why are you so like
Yeah,
not old? Because I wasn't, but it's like, why are you here?
that's right.
And it's explaining every time that it's because
Yeah. Cool. That's awesome. Well, listen, that's it. I know you're a little bit nervous, but that was 20 minutes. It flew by. So
It did.
Before I cut you loose, though, everybody gets a shameless shout out at the end of the show. So you got the cameras, lights, mics on you. Have fun.
Okay, so I mostly do embroidery, and you can find me at Ellen Rose Design on Instagram, And my photography page is Vintage Blossoms Photography. And I'm excited to show what is coming up this year for both sides of the business, I guess.
There we go. Well, listen, thank you very much for coming on. Please,
Thank
if
you
you
for
want to
having
promote anything else that you have on the go, come back as many times as you want. Cool.
You're going to regret that, but sure.
I hope I do. All right, Fort McMurray, Wood Buffalo, and the rest of the world. That's been another episode of the Mac City Morning Show. Thank you so much for tuning in. It really does mean the world to me. I hope you're having a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow. Peace.
I just said this. That's another Mac City Morning Show done.
It's so ballistic!
Talk about quenching your ugly thirst.